the time, I was 3 blocks down and 3 blocks to the left. I was raised in a very Democrat family. Both my grandparents, my mom. This particular conversation, it's going to be a couple of different things. It's going to be a combination of crap that's going on in the media today, along with things from those several years ago. But anyway, my grandparents, my mom, most of my family, Democrats. My family is in West Virginia. Our state is primarily Republican. Our state Senate and House of Legislature, they've been primary Republican for a long time. We have two Republicans in the House of Representatives. We have one Democrat in the House of Representatives. We have two Democrat state senators. At least I think so. I know Manchin is. I think maybe the other one's a Republican. I don't know. I'm not really. I think it's Shelley Moore Capito. She's a Republican. Yeah. I think that's right. Shelley Moore Capito is the senator. She's a Republican. But anyway, I was raised to believe that Democrats were the party of the people. And now, of course, I grew up in a different time period. We were not, horribly lied to by our education system. We knew growing up that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. And his party that was controlling the government at the time were the Republicans. We also knew that the Republican Party was founded to abolish slavery. It was an anti-slavery movement that became a political party. We knew that as well. And the Democrats were the wealthy landowners in the South that owned the slaves. And of course, owning another person was extremely expensive. So again, very small percentage of people actually fucking own slaves. My family came from Germany, the majority of them, in around 1900, 1904, something like that. So my family wasn't even here for that shit. So I will never apologize for the color of my skin or something I had absolutely nothing to do. Y'all can fuck off with that shit. Anyways. I was raised by a single mother. My parents got divorced in 1990. I was 7. And we struggled a lot. We always had what we needed. Very rarely, well, sometimes, most of the time we had what we needed. We didn't have everything we needed, but at least the most important things we had. But we had a lot of times when we struggled. When we moved to Virginia, me and my brother both ended up dropping out of high school because we had to get jobs to help mom out. We were not going to make it if we hadn't. So we chose adulthood way too early. And there were small little period of time where we were homeless, living in mom's car. There were many times I had to steal my food from the store because we had nothing. I can't remember the exact name they called them, but basically it was your food pantry, I guess is what you want to call it. But they were only open twice a month, and they only gave you, a small little amount, so it was never enough. And because there were 3 of us working at the time, we made too much for any kind of food stamps. But we barely made anything at all. That was 2000, 99, 2000. Minimum wage in the state of Virginia, because that's where we were living at the time, was, I think, $5.15. I believe it was $5.15 an hour. That's not a lot of money. Even then, I mean, milk was still, $2 a gallon. Gas was almost $2 a gallon. You know, they act as if you could make it on that little bit of nothing. That's just not right. And then you don't get any assistance at all. Yeah, there were people walking around with, well, they were not nice cell phones at that time. They were just little whatever. Nokia, I don't know, 6140. I don't remember the number, but it was those old, you know, you could give someone a concussion if you hit them in the head with it. Big fucking phones. Yeah, people had those, but they had no money. That made no sense. But as I got older, I got more and more, well, liberal. Not to the point of what it is today. I always considered myself a classic, the definition of a classic liberal. Now I can't even refer to myself as that because there's such a huge stigma with the word liberal. If you say I'm a millennial liberal, holy shit, you're the worst human being on earth. I mean, that's at least the way a lot of us look at it, because you're a nutcase. Depending on what you're looking at, I'm either a Gen X or a liberal, or a millennial. I don't know. I just like to say I'm not one of those fucking wacko millennials, so I'll just continue to consider myself a Gen X. But where I really decided to walk away, and it may seem silly, you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of these videos I've seen, you know, they're minorities. They're black people, they're Hispanic people, you know, and there's, of course there's quite a few of them that are white people too, but it's all it's all been some profound thing that pushes them away from the left. Mine's not really that profound. It's just a large smattering of stupid little things that just kind of added up to fuck it. And in 2012, I voted for Barack Obama. Mostly because that was actually the very first time I had ever voted. In 2012, I was 29. So my very first time voting, I was 29. I had never voted before. I didn't vote for Barack Obama the first time. I didn't vote for Bush either of the 2 times he ran, because I just didn't give a shit. None of that stuff really bothered me. You know, I didn't care about any of it. I go to work, I come home, I'd get high. Well, weed. I never did any of that other stuff. Let me try a few things here, but that's a different story. Irrelevant. But I didn't give a shit. None of that stuff bothered me. I didn't care in the least about any of it. But as I got older, of course, I had kids. That changed a lot. It always does. For those of you out there that have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's no longer me. It's them. And what's more important for them. So it has a profound change on all of us. But where it started was seeing all of this, because this rhetoric about, you a long time. This is not something that's new. I remember hearing, and this is when I was really little. I remember hearing Bill Clinton, the first time he ran, and he was, he himself didn't say it, but the people he had doing other debates on his behalf, or people that would tour around and speak for him to try to, whatever. They would label George H.W. Bush as a racist simply because he's a Republican. He was one of, and there's a lot of current presidents, people that knew him, whether they were politicians or not. There were a lot of people that said he was probably one of the most genuine presidents that we've had in memory. He was not racist. George W. Bush was not racist. The fact that they keep labeling everybody racist, this is not a new thing. This has been going on for a very long time. But as I got older, I started noticing it more and more and more. That instead of actually sitting down and having a legitimate conversation, Democrats were only ever good at one thing. If you don't agree with them, they throw insults. No debate. No honest conversation. Just insults. That's all they're capable of doing. And it seems, they're a little more likely to work with Republicans when the current administration is in their second and third year. It took Democrats to pass prison reform. It took Democrats to pass the Second Chance Act. It took Democrats to pass the VA accountability. It took some Democrats to pass VA choice. All the things that Donald Trump has accomplished in his first 4 years, it's taken some Democrats to pass it. There's not been enough Republicans to pass this stuff without at least a few Democrats. So at least there's some of them out there that are willing to work with the president. But now, oh no, nope. They are in a re-election year. They are not at all willing to work with him for anything now. Nope. They are in that we must be re-elected and take the House back and then kick him out of office under a bunch of false pretenses, just like everything else. There's a recording out there of Nancy Pelosi explaining how you get re-elected. You throw falsehoods. Those were her words. You throw falsehoods at another person. That's all they've been doing to Trump since he became our president. Is just slander. He really should be suing. If I was him, I would be, because hell, they used the FBI to spy on his campaign. So I think he should give them a taste of their own medicine. I think he should send the FBI into every single one of them's background. Every single Democrat. All of them. Every single one of their financials. Everything. Because I will guarantee you he could dig up enough dirt to have at least 2/3 of them arrested. But he won't do it. Because he knows that's a tactic they would do. And he's better than that. So I applaud him for not doing it, but I don't have that sort of self-restraint. I'm not 72 years old. I'm 37. And you fucking damn right I would do that. I would abuse every bit of my power to see these motherfuckers hanged. All of them. And that is not a racial thing when I say that. No, they'd all dangle. I don't care what color their skin is. But anyway, the point I was trying to make about, growing up and the struggles that we had, being homeless, being without food. This is my way of arguing against this thing called white privilege. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I have never been able to walk into a bank and say, hey, I'm going to use my white privilege. Please give me $5,000. They would laugh at me. Hell, some of them would probably try to beat my ass and physically force me out of the bank. Same thing with Century 21 if I tried to get a house. This is ridiculous. But what we have ignored is the fact that we do have one thing that I would refer to as American privilege. You know, you should never apologize for the color of your skin. I would never in a million years, and probably at least 95% of the white people in this country would never, ever, ever walk up and say, you need to apologize because your skin's black or brown or yellow or red or pink or green or purple. We would never do that because racism's not that big of a problem. There are some racist people, but I mean, fuck's sakes, we have black doctors, we have black lawyers, we have black judges, we have black politicians, we had a black president, for fuck's sakes. And it takes white people to vote anybody in. If you don't have any white vote, you don't stand a chance. You get 3% of the vote, you know, like most of the Democratic nominees got this, you know, worthless human beings. Although I did like Tulsi Gabbard, but she's not an establishment Democrat, so she never stood a chance. And she's not a devil in a pantsuit. But anyway, it was the fact that they can't have an honest conversation. It's just insults. That's all they're capable of doing. Another thing was, I started realizing that all these cities where the biggest problems in our country reside are Democrat run. They're causing this problem. They could easily fix it, but they don't want to, because what they do is they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars in, well, advertisements. These slanderous commercials of, you know, oh, our Republican opponent is a racist piece of shit. You know, and then of course they're questioned by, you know, these CNN and MSNBC dickheads with pre-chosen questions. You know what I want? And this, you know, and if I don't get what I want, I'm going to protest and I'm going to burn things down, blah, blah, blah. This is my demand and it better be met. I want to question these fuckers myself. Oh yeah. I want to go on TV when they're having their little debates and I want to question them. Because then I would look at Donald Trump and I would say, good evening, sir. How are you? Kids good? Yeah. Wife's good? Awesome. Drinking some Diet Coke? Yeah. And then I'd look over at Biden. Hey, Biden, let me ask you a question. I want to know what your exact thoughts are. And if you start spouting some stupid ass talking points, I'm just going to say, no. They're pulling your strings. I want to know what you think. You know, your 94 crime bill disproportionately put black people in jail. Now, it is true that, you know, they're committing the crimes. Black people, a lot of black people are put in jail, not because they're black. They commit a lot of crimes. And you want to blame cops for doing their job? Really? this current shit that's going on with BLM and with Antifa, which I fucking despise those people. Now, I know we live in a world now where everybody can take words and twist the definitions to their own specific meaning. You know, like they use the word racist like it's a fucking comma, okay? But the word fascist, okay? Fascism is using violence to silence political opposition. That is what fascism is. And what are these cowards doing? They're using violence to silence political opposition. They are anti-fascist fascists, if that makes any sense. No, those people, they're trash. They're trash. You don't like America? You don't like how we are? You want to continue to push the subject of racism when it doesn't really exist? You really don't like America? You want to destroy its system? You want to tear down its flags and its monuments? Well, how about you just take your bitch asses somewhere else? Get on a fucking boat, get on a plane, renounce your fucking citizenship, and fuck off. You know, there are a lot of people in this world that would love the opportunity to be in your place. So how about we do a little swap? You know, I don't know if they do foreign exchange students anymore. I'm pretty sure that's a system in the United States that still exists. I don't know. But if it does, how about instead of foreign exchange students, we just have foreign exchange opportunists or foreign exchange patriots, foreign exchange hardworking adult. I don't, whatever you want to call it. We will take the worthless people in our society, the people who don't want to work, the people that don't want to contribute, and all they want to do is burn things, smash things, and demand free shit. How about we take those worthless human beings and switch them? We'll give them to a country that's full of worthless people that don't want to do anything, and the people who actually want to work and make something of themselves is the minority. We'll take their minority and swap them with our minority, because the majority of the people in this country, they're good people. They want to work, they want to make money, they want to have fun with their lives. They want to make something of themselves. We have a lot of people in this country that don't want to do either one, or either of those things, and then they just want to demand free shit. Okay, we'll send them to Venezuela. All these socialists, AOC, let's send her bitch ass to fucking Venezuela and just leave her there. I don't give a shit that she's a fucking representative. She shouldn't be. She has no experience in anything. She's a fucking bartender. How about you take your bitch ass back to the fucking bar and make me a goddamn cocktail? Actually, you know what? You'd probably spit in it, so never mind. And then Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. How the hell did we fucking vote in anti-American Muslims? Now, I don't hate Muslims. I've met quite a few of them over the years. They're really nice people, but they do have a very strict religious code. Nothing wrong with that. But if you can't acclimate yourself to the way we do things and understand that you cannot bury people up to their necks and throw rocks at their head. If you do that in the United States, religion or not, you're going to prison. So you acclimate yourself to our way of doing things. We don't give a shit what your religion is. We don't give a shit what your color is. I speak for probably 95% of white Americans when I say this. We don't fucking care what color your skin is. We don't care what your religion is. We don't care about your gender. We don't care if you want to walk around and say, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener. We don't give a fuck. Just don't bother us. We won't bother you. Don't bother us. If you want to get along with us, we'll get along with you. You want to talk to us, party with us, have fun with us, we'll show you a good time, especially the Southern people. We love that shit. We'll take you out. We'll teach you, if you don't know how to shoot guns, we'll teach you how to do that. We'll change your common misconception that guns are dangerous. No, they're not. We don't blame Pyrex for people being fat. You know, we don't blame people who make silverware or plasticware, whatever you want to use. We don't blame them for people being fat. We don't blame McDonald's. You don't blame a car when someone crashes it. You don't blame alcohol for drunk drivers. We blame people. You blame people for their bad fucking actions. And you don't do it in mass punishment. We are not the United States military. Alright, I have experience with that. I was in the U.S. Army. When one person fucked up, everybody got punished for it. The United States is not the military. Mass punishment is pointless. Stop punishing the whole for the actions of a few. So that goes along with, I don't know, how police are being treated. I see police the same way I do as military. You're not chosen for that. We don't have conscription. People choose to do it. They don't volunteer because you're not doing it for free. But as far as laying your life on the line for that, that's voluntary basis. They choose to do this job. They're not chosen to do it. Have some fucking respect. Same thing with doctors, nurses. They don't have to do that job. They chose to do that job. And people like me, if you haven't noticed my fucking background, this is a seat belt. I am in a fucking 18-wheeler. I choose to do this job. This is my way of serving my country. Twice. Military, truck driver. This is my choice. I'm just trying to make some money, make a fucking delivery, and do my part in serving my country and serving my economy. And what happens? We get out here and we get pulled out of our trucks, beaten up, killed. No. Fuck that. You know, I'm old enough to remember Rodney King's famous words. Why can't we all just get along? For the majority of us, the ones that aren't paying attention to the fucking media, or at least minimizing our exposure to it, we do. You know, I drive all over this country every day, in different states all the time. I have encountered Muslims. I have encountered Indians. Now, I'm not saying, Sioux or Apache, Native Americans. I'm not calling them indigenous. That's stupid. They're Native Americans. That was the PC term when I was a kid. That is what I will continue to call them. And they're not African Americans unless they came from Africa. I know some Africans. I've met a few of those over the years. No, they're Americans. It doesn't matter, skin's white, black, brown, whatever. Now, if you were born in America, you've been part of our landscape for a long time, you're American. It doesn't matter where your ancestors came from. You're American. If you're first generation and your parents came from another country, yeah, you can still consider yourself partially that because that's still the heritage that you're growing up with. But probably 95% of the black people in America, they've been here for at least 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. Their ancestors have been here for a long time. They're American. We don't need any more of this African American. Because all these PC terms, there's no difference between saying, now, I will agree, the N-word is far more vulgar, derogatory, but there's no difference between saying that, saying Negro, saying African American. It's still a title to segregate people into groups. And where does all this PC garbage come from? The left, Democrats, liberals, whatever you want to call them. That's where all these PC terms come from. It's just different, it's less vulgar names of categorizing a specific group. More segregation. It's fucking stupid. And as I got older, I realized more of this, these, we're the party of the people. I think you left out a few words. We are the party of classifying people. We are the party of keeping people in their place. And again, I'm not saying that as a racial thing. Everybody has their place. And it's at the bottom. We are the 98%. We are the workhorse of this country. Yet we are all neglected. And if you're looking at me saying, you don't know neglect, your skin's white, go fuck yourself. Take Bubba Wallace's noose, wrap it around your fucking neck, and hang yourself from a tree. No, I know, we all know struggle. The only people that don't really know struggle are the ones born with that silver spoon in their fucking mouth. The offspring of the uber wealthy. Look at Obama. Dude was born with a silver fucking spoon in his mouth. He doesn't know what struggle is. He doesn't know any of that shit. He went to a fucking Ivy League school. He doesn't know the first thing about being the average black person. Or the average American, for that point, has nothing to do with the fucking skin color. Because most of us, we don't have fucking great lives. We have to struggle. We have to work hard for what we have. I'm a business owner. That's kind of what's put me more towards the right. Instead of 3 blocks to the left, now I'm 3 blocks to the right, but I'm still 3 blocks south. I still have that libertarian part of me. The belief that I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want as long as I don't hurt anyone else. Personal responsibility. You should take responsibility for yourself. Stop blaming everybody else for your problems. The people who blame other people for their problems is just an excuse for laziness. I'm not going to say a specific name, but my soon-to-be ex-wife, a few members of her family bitch, whine, and complain that they can't have a decent life. Well, when you have a specific person in that family that just wants to sit on their fucking ass at home and not do anything to help out the rest of their family members, you really can't bitch and complain then. You're not doing anything to fix your situation. And there's a lot of people in this country with that fucking attitude, that they don't want to do anything to fix their situation except blame others. That's a left tactic. You can't fix your own fucking problems. There's absolutely nothing wrong with picking yourself up by your fucking bootstraps. Oh yeah, there's that thing that will want me to get, make the people on the left want to fucking hang me by saying, pick yourself up by your own bootstraps. There is no excuse that you can't do that. If you say, well, I can't do it because of my skin color. Bullshit. Bullshit. Dr. Ben Carson, perfect example. He's lived in 7 or 8 different large cities in the black communities. Saw how rough everything was, the rough lifestyle, the violence, the gang activity. That motherfucker went to college and became a world-renowned brain surgeon. He's a conservative. And because a lot of people want to label Donald Trump as a racist, bigot, hateful chauvinist, xenophobe, all their phobics, all their isms, whatever. Dr. Ben Carson is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Okay, if he's so racist, why the fuck would he put a black person in that position? He has an Asian woman as his transportation secretary. Now, I honestly don't think she should be there because she doesn't know the first thing about transportation. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. No, if you're qualified for the fucking job, I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your race is. And again, I'm speaking for 95% of the white people in this country when I say that. We don't give a fuck about your race or your gender. If you're qualified to do the job, do the fucking job. I don't think she's qualified, but the only reason she's there is because she's Mitch McConnell's wife. I think, and this is just me, everybody who gets chosen to do those jobs should have a background in that job. So, Secretary of Transportation should be someone who's worked in transportation. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development should be someone who's been in that particular area, which Donald Trump did. You know, he's donated his own money to historical black colleges. Well, if he was so racist, why would he do that? You know, he passed. But anyway, I'm getting into, you know, trying to be a spokesman for Donald Trump, which now it's not a Make America Great Again hat, but I think it's fine. Trump 2020, fuck yeah. But anyway, so the name calling, the lack of compassion, because they lie all the time, and then when they finally get their power, they don't do anything. They continue to fuck up the cities, making them worse, and then they lecture the rest of us about how to care for the environment. Their cities are shitholes, covered in garbage, covered in graffiti, homeless people on the streets, pooping on the sidewalk. They're nasty, nasty fucking people. So that, and then I want to say this as basically the straw that broke the camel's back. When they passed Obamacare, and they said, or more specifically, Nancy Pelosi said, you want to know what's in Obamacare? Pass it. Why are we passing bills blindly? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's like, I don't know, walking around in a fucking snake pit with the lights off. Or, I don't know, having sex with a lot lizard without a condom. You know, muy estúpido. Fucking stupid. Why are we passing bills without knowing what's in them? So again, this is another one of these if I was in charge type situations. Bills would only be based on what they're based, you know, if it was a tax bill, that's the only thing it would be about. If it was we are setting aside $100,000 or $100 million for this, then it would only be a bill about that, not 1,000 pages of other shit. We're going to sneak a few other dumb things in there because no one's going to read it. No one's going to pay attention to it. And then when they pass it and they sign it into law, oh, you guys don't realize that you just got bent over and had a big dick shoved in your ass. What the fuck? Really? Why do we have politicians that do that shit? Oh, you want to know what's in it? Vote for it. Pass it. Get the fuck out of here. Nancy Pelosi, just die already. Leave office, croak, It doesn't fucking matter. Get your ass out of office. You don't belong there. And take your boyfriend Schumer with you. Take the rest of the fucking snowflake pack. You know, take all of your minions and go to Venezuela. You want socialism so bad, take Bernie with you. Fuck out of here. You're not Americans. You're fucking communists. Take your ass on something. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. That hearing that, you know, and mandating something that people don't want to pay for. You know, I can see, you know, health coverage for, you know, elderly people because they have a lot more health problems. They're in and out of hospitals. But why? You know, I tried to get health insurance a couple years ago, and I was on the phone with them, and as soon, you know, they asked me what I do for a living. I told them I'm a truck driver. So they automatically assumed that I'm Mr. Moneybags, and they quoted me $1,800 a month. Are you fucking serious? That's a $6,000 deductible to go with it. $1,800 a month. So you seriously want me to give you like $22,000, $23,000 a year in health insurance costs? I might go to the hospital once a year and get a $3,000 or $4,000 bill. Any sane person would just pay the fucking bill. Oh no, it's mandatory. You have to. I ain't doing shit. This is America, motherfucker. This is supposed to be the land of free. I make my own fucking choices. They should not be made for me. No, but that's the Democrats for you. They love mandatory shit. Like we have no fucking choice. Bullshit. So that is what pushed me away from the left. And I don't think I could ever go back. I honestly don't think I could ever go back because it seems like as the years pass by, we keep getting these people that are so fucking far to the left, they might as well fall off the cliff. And these wacko fucking, you know, defund the police. Now, I know the majority of the United States does not support that, and that's not going to happen. You know, there's a lot of anti-guns out there, but, I mean, it's going to take a lot. You know, it'll take a lot to get rid of the Second Amendment, and I don't think they're anywhere close to that. But you look at some of these states that are throwing felony charges at people simply because they are carrying a pistol. I'm sorry, but the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's pretty that's pretty straight fucking forward. Yet, oh, nope, no. You cannot carry a pistol. You must have a permit. If you're out of state, you're not going to get a permit. You're just going to get a felony charge. I'm sorry, but the United States is the United States. New York is not its own country. California is not its own country. They are states within the U.S. They have to abide by the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution is not a pick and choose. It's all. Therefore, Second Amendment, and then there's the Fourth, which prevents them from taking my property illegally. No, but they're somehow they're getting away with it because we have a Supreme Court that won't do its fucking job. I mean, yes, Trump, you put two more conservatives in there, but why aren't they doing anything about the fucking Second Amendment violations throughout this country? They should be the first ones to stand up and say, okay, since you guys can't seem to do your fucking shit right, how about this? All of your anti-gun agenda rules and laws, they're unconstitutional. Everybody you have in prison on a gun charge and a gun charge only, you will release them and expunge their fucking records. But they ain't done it. They haven't touched the Second Amendment since Judge Scalia. And that's been a while ago. They haven't touched the Second Amendment since then, and they're letting these states violate the shit out of it. No, that's not right. It's not the way it's supposed to be. But you know, and if you look at what's currently going on with the We want to take away your guns. We want to take away your police. I mean, what are they going to accomplish with that? Take away our right to protect ourselves and take away anything that protects us. Or at least attempts to. Usually cops show up after the crime's already been done. They're not really protecting anybody, but they're at least giving it a shot. And I respect that. Okay? But then what? Defund the military? Oh wait, that's something else they're trying to talk about. So they want to get rid of our guns, get rid of our police, cut the funding for our military, if not outright get rid of them. What exactly is their fucking plan? Someone needs to get involved in this. FBI, CIA, I don't give a fuck. NSA, because I mean that's a big breach of national security right there. You know, these plots to completely destroy the United States. That's a national security problem there. The NSA needs to get involved in this shit. Start looking at Antifa. Start looking at Black Lives Matter. Start finding out who's pulling their fucking strings. Because if it comes out that it is the DNC or members of the Democratic Party that are fucking pulling these strings, they should be charged as traitors to the United States, and the punishment should fit the fucking crime. Of course, I'd show a little bit of mercy, but that's because I'm not a goddamn monster. I'm not an animal. You know, hey, option A, take your fucking ass on somewhere. Get on a boat, pick a destination, and fucking go. Get the hell out of this country. Or B, we're going to hang you with a red, white, and blue noose picked from Bubba Smollett's fucking garage door. Fucking bullshit. But anyway, this is my walk away story. This is HBJ. Peace, America.